Hi everyone, it's Pisit here and I would like to welcome you all to my very first course on Udemy. As the name implies, this course will be about personal finance, one of my most favorite topics, and specifically, it will cover only one part of that huge topic. That part is called wealth creation and its definition and understanding will be discussed later on. I'm really excited about this and I hope you are as well. Before taking this lecture, I assume that you all have read briefly the course description, learning objectives, and prerequisites. If you haven't, please kindly do so. Again, I would like to stress that this course is designed to be universal and not specific to a particular country. If you are looking for the course about how to submit a tax filing in the US, this course is probably not for you and you are likely to find the materials that better fit your needs and expectations elsewhere. Anyway, let's get started. Let's get started with the why question. Why do you need to know about personal finance? The answer is simple. Obviously, money is part of your life and it will always be, starting from your student life when you have to manage your allowance and your spending on tuition, books, living costs, and the likes. Once you become adult, things become much more complicated. Now you start to be responsible for your own income. Types of expenses can be varied during this stage. You will be more familiar with banks and their financial products such as credit cards and mortgages. You will probably start to have your own assets or even your own home if you decide to live independently. During the retirement stage, you start to be worried because you no longer receive income from your employer. In most cases, you will rely on income from your investments either in terms of interest or dividend. Unfortunately, you are not as healthy as you were and you start to visit hospitals probably as frequently as you used to go shopping at the department stores when you were healthier. And lastly, if you haven't thought about the inheritance planning earlier in your life, this should be the stage that you start to be serious about it. Some of you may have probably been familiar with personal budgeting, right? While many of you may not. Personal financial budgeting within the wealth creation process is indeed a critical part in the personal financial planning. Yet, I need to tell you that personal budgeting covers only one part of the financial plan. I will inform you about the big picture first so you get a sense of what you should think about when developing a complete financial plan. There are 4 personal finance principles that you should be aware of and I will walk you through them slowly. First, it is wealth creation, the heart of this course. This is the process that you have to manage your income, expenses, taxes, and hopefully generate positive savings. Then second, is wealth accumulation. This is the process that you make uses of your savings generated from wealth creation process to invest and earn something either in form of dividend or interest. Obviously, this additional revenue will increase your income, which means that you can probably spend more in the future at your discretion. Alternatively, this income can also be used to reinvest. If you have investment skills and in some cases you feel lucky, then probably you will get capital appreciation from your stocks or other assets as your bonus. Perfect, guys. Well, that sounds like the end. Unfortunately, it's not. You also have to learn how to protect your wealth. The third principle is wealth protection, which is the process that you really need to plan for the unexpected events such as car crash. Let's imagine that if you happen to hit someone while driving your car, can you imagine that? Unsurprisingly, your personal liability to that person, either in terms of medical fees or something else, will be extremely huge and sometimes can fully destroy your entire financial plan and lead to stress eventually. Then, the fourth principle is wealth distribution, which is the process that you have to think about how to share your wealth to your family members and your kids. The following message is not intended to insult anyone, okay? Everyone will eventually die somewhere in his or her life and it is something that you don't really know in advance typically. A good financial plan should also be able to accommodate your concerns as well as your families. As you probably know, this course will be about wealth creation, the first and probably the most critical step in the overall financial planning process as savings will be the starting point for all subsequent processes. There are 4 steps in wealth creation section, alright? And it is probably the first time that you prepare your own personal financial statement. The first step is to identify what you have, how many assets do you have, and what about liabilities, that kind of stuff. The second step is to record your revenues and expenses. As you start your personal budgeting for the very first time, you probably never keep track of your revenues and expenses, and these items are very important information that at least you need to know to make a good budget. The third step is to organize and analyze the information. After gathering required information, obviously, you should take a look at it and draw some conclusion. The fourth step is to budget your savings and expenses for the very first time. The whole process will then become a loop as you budget your savings and expenses and then record new information accordingly. So in the first box, identify what you have. You have to learn accounting basics and then know about how to identify things that you currently have, including something you can touch, such as your home or your car, and something that you cannot touch, such as your knowledge. In the second and third steps, we will talk about key types of people in this world and then the key information related to your income and expenses that you should identify. Revenues and expenses matrix will help you learn how to organize massive information like your own spending or multiple sources of revenues. In the last step, you will learn how to deal with income and expenses that are relatively volatile or do not incur on a regular basis. You will then learn the fundamental principle of emergency funds and saving goals. Lastly, you will integrate all concepts you learn in this section and create your own personal financial budgeting. Throughout the course, I will illustrate the use of YNAB in creating a powerful personal budgeting plan. In this course, YNAB is used to strengthen your understanding of the concepts only. You can use any personal financial software that you want, but I choose to illustrate YNAB in this course because I have first-hand experience and I personally think that it is one of the best personal financial software out there in the market. In addition, it also supports smartphone and this is a must. You should be able to record your expenses in real time or otherwise you may start to miss things. This is the reason why I have to vote against Excel here. Excel is always my favorite software and I use it a lot in my personal and professional life, but this time I have to vote against it as Excel doesn't have good mobile interface to record your expenses in real time. I will talk about how to get YNAB later, but in brief, you can get 30-day free trial or buy it at $60. Alternatively, you can use the link below or on the right of this video to get 10% discount. Here is the summary of this lecture. The entire courses will be about wealth creation, the first part of the 4-step financial planning process. We will explore the steps in setting up your personal financial budget as shown on your right hand side, and I will use YNAB, a personal finance software, to strengthen your understanding. Alright, let's get started with the course. Thanks for watching.